Hey guys, welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today I'm going to be playing another episode of Minecraft, and today I'm actually going to be coming at you with my first mod review I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to be reviewing the Too Much TNT mod. Now basically what this mod does is it basically adds in mods, and basically is a mod that adds in multiple TNT, tons of TNT, all of this. This is, of course, the regular TNT, and this is the minecart with TNT. But those are both from vanilla, but all the others, there's tons of them that it adds in, and they are actually really cool to play around with. So anyways, we're going to start off with this. All I'm going to do, I'm not going to show you crafting recipes, but I'll put a link in the description taking you to the wiki where you can get crafting recipes. But right now, I'm going to be showing you basically what all these TNTs do. So first of all, this is what the regular vanilla TNT is, and what it does. Not that big, not that impressive, but there are more. Let's go over here with the TNT times 5, and let's light that. What does that do? Some of these may lag you just a little bit. That does quite a bit more. But that's still nothing. If you go over here, you can actually get the TNT times 20. A little bit of lag there, but look how much that blew up. That blew up quite a bit. Let's go over and let's test out the TNT times 100. Now, what this does, this actually does quite a bit. But not nearly as much as the meteor and TNT. You'll see that here in just a minute. See a little bit of a lag spike here. That'll happen basically to anyone. Look how much more that blew up in one huge freaking explosion. So you gotta be really careful with these. Now let's go test out the ultimate TNT times. Let's do TNT times 500. Now this will lag you just a little bit more. I usually have a delay for it for about 15 seconds. Let it go. And this should blow up quite a bit. The TNT times 500 is pretty freaking powerful. As you see there, it blew up a huge freaking hole. That's quite a bit. Now let's go out and let's try out the meteor TNT. And for this one, we're going to need a huge space, because the meteor TNT is the ultimate TNT in this whole mod pack. Let's go right over here, and let's light this sucker. Now, this thing will have a delay probably of about 1 or 2 minutes. That's how much mine is. As you see, it'll freeze here. And as you see, it blew up. And if you look closely here, we have a massive freaking hole. I mean, look at this sucker. It won't even load in barely. Come on, load in. Look at this sucker. Ooh, diamonds. How many is there? 1? That's cool. Look how freaking big this thing is, and there's even a dungeon over here. Wow. This thing is pretty freaking powerful. Yeah, so meteor TNT, as you can see, is pretty freaking powerful. Now let's go try out the compact TNT. And I'm not actually sure of what this will do. I can't remember because I haven't actually played around with this mod for a little while. I'm just showing off what all the TNTs will do. So let's go over here and let's do the compact TNT. I'm pretty sure I know what this does. As you can see right there, all those TNTs lit, and it creates tons of TNT explosions. And that actually creates quite the big explosion, and I believe it's pretty cheap to make, but I am not entirely sure. Now let's try out the fire TNT. Now, what this TNT will do is, as you will see it has a little fire particle effects. it will create fire circle all around the TNT. Now that is one of my favorite TNTs, but not nearly my favorite. Alright guys, okay. Now that we have more TNT, we're going to take a little bit of a break for the explosions for a little bit of a break from the huge explosions for about 3 pieces of TNT. Now, we're going to place that down, and we're going to do that. Now, what this is called is the house TNT. What the house TNT will do is, as you just saw, it will create a house. Now, this house doesn't come in with any chests or anything. It only comes in with a workbench, but it's a pretty freaking cool house. Very useful. Now let's try it. There's multiple house TNTs too. So now we have the wood house TNT, since that's just cobblestone, and we have the brick house TNT. So now if we place the wood house TNT and we place that down, it should create a wooden house. Now this one does not look nearly as ugly as that one over there, and it also comes with a furnace and a workbench, but that's what all the houses come with, right? Now let's show you the brick house TNT. This one is even more advanced, and this one is probably the most expensive of the few. Sorry about that guys, I had to relog, but let's place this. I'm having to relog a lot with these TNTs, they're screwing me up just a little bit. So this mod pack has a few problems, and as you see, it did not work. So the brick house TNT does not work right now. Let's get that thing out of our inventory, and let's replace it with the nuclear TNT. Now what the nuclear TNT will do is it will actually create a huge nuclear explosion. As you see, there's little green particle effects in there. Pretty cool, right? Now what this will do is it'll create a huge nuclear explosion, and everything will turn out with, well, by the way, huge throwback. As you see over here, you see this little green stuff down on the grounds, and you see it created nuclear waste. Now the nuclear waste TNT is probably one of my favorite TNTs of all time. This thing is pretty freaking sweet, and it can do quite a bit. I mean, look at this. And this even comes with the nuclear waste TNT. Now, I bet if you tried, you could probably try and get this with the shovel, but I am not entirely sure. So, let's go on and try out the floating island TNT. Now, this is another one of my favorite TNTs. If we get our flint and steel back out and we light this sucker, that failed so hard. If we light this sucker, it should make a floating island, as you will see in just a minute, if it works. The house TNT types are not really wanting to work, but it looks like it worked. Now this will create a floating island right above the ground, about probably about 30 blocks up, 20 maybe, and it will be exactly what the ground below it is. So this is a very useful TNT if you want to create island systems or anything like that. As you see up here, you got the nice little water and everything. It even put in all the nuclear waste. Lots of detail, right? Now, let's go to the snow TNT. What this will do is, as you will see here in a minute, skeletons and zombies, I hope they get blown up. That created a huge snow place, right? Not really that big, but it's still cool if you want to transform a biome into a taiga biome or a tundra. Now, let's go on, find a good place, and let's do the ocean TNT. I guess we could plant it right here. Now, what the ocean TNT will do is it will actually create an ocean. As you see, this is one of my favorite TNTs, mostly because of how good it looks. Those particle effects are absolutely perfect. As you saw here, it created a little small ocean, and it actually put in squids. Now what we're going to try is the Hellfire TNT. Now what this TNT will do is it will basically take the nether, or hell, which is, what a coincidence, this thing is called the Hellfire TNT, and it will take it and put it into the overworld. As you can see right here, ghasts, fire, netherrack, everything that the nether has. Hence the name Hellfire TNT. Now let's go over to try out the Vaporized TNT. Now, I'm not quite sure what this TNT will do. As you will see though, it will show. And look at the little black particle effects. Particle effects are the best. Now what this does, it looks like, is it vaporizes. So now we will try the Vaporized TNT. And what I'm pretty sure this thing will do is it will actually vaporize all the water around it. This thing is probably pretty freaking powerful. I'm not entirely sure if that's what it does, but that's my guess. As you can see here, it actually vaporized some of the water. So that is pretty freaking useful. Now we will test out some of the other TNTs. Now we will grab our flint and steel, and we will replace this little sucker with the flint and steel. Now what these TNTs will do is actually pretty cool. As you can see right here, the digging TNT, this will basically dig a huge hole going down into the ground. And this thing is pretty freaking awesome. As you can see right here, huge hole. If you want to go mining and you want to make sure that you can dig straight down, there you go. Now we will try the drilling TNT. This one is even better. This one will create a huge hole, not just one little skinny tall hole. This thing is one of my favorites also. It's not my favorite though because the particle effect is black, and I'm not a big fan of black. As you can see here, it actually created a huge drill. It's basically acted like a drill. Sorry if you hear noise in the background. I was actually putting my phone away in my drawer because a friend was texting me. So, yeah, texting me. This is pretty cool. Now we'll go to the ghost TNT, and I'm not exactly sure what this thing will do, but we will see what it will do. I believe it creates everything to be like a ghost. It's basically a TNT that's ghost, apparently. You can't really see it. Okay, let's go to the multiply TNT. Now this TNT will do is it'll basically, I believe it'll multiply it'll basically multiply, and it'll create a huge explosion, kind of. I am wrong. It actually multiplies all the items that drop from it. So that is pretty cool if you want good resources. If you want lots of cobblestone, if you want lots of dirt, that thing is pretty freaking awesome. Now let's go to the cubic TNT. This will basically create a cubic hole basically straight under it. As you can see right here, this sucker is 5 by 5, perfectly square, and it goes down too. So now, let's try out the erupting TNT. Now, I believe this thing is pretty freaking awesome. As you can see right there, it'll erupt a bunch of TNTs, and they will fall down, and they will explode. Look how awesome that guy is. That's one of my favorites. I have a lot of favorite TNTs, don't I? So let's go over to the floating TNT. Now, what the floating TNT does is it basically floats. Pretty freaking cool, right? I'm guessing that the guy who made this actually got a little bit bored to do that, but it is a really freaking cool TNT. Now, let's do the chemical TNT. And basically, what this will do is, as shown, it has little chemical particle effects. It basically kind of like makes it look like chemicals. I mean, look at all of them. Chemicals are germs. I don't want them all over me. Now, as you see here, we have the last few of the TNTs. Now, we will go on to the freeze TNT. Now, this TNT is pretty cool. I especially like the particle effects. The guy really did pretty well on those. Really fits it, and it makes you kind of cold. I am actually cold now. Look at that. That is perfect for starting an ice farm. You could do different layers, and I believe it goes down just a few layers. I was right. And it goes down really far, so this is perfect for an ice farm if you ever want to make one. So now let's go on to the timer TNT. What this will do is, as shown, this guy will basically, you know, I actually don't really know. You'll see though. So this guy is kind of like a timer, I'm guessing, and yeah, look at how slow it is to start up. I mean, is it gonna like explode? There it goes. So it goes between those, and it goes to the one that it chooses, I guess. Let's go on to the reaction TNT. Now, the reaction TNT is actually very cool, as you can see here. Reaction TNT is pretty, a little bit laggy for me. Now, what this does is a pretty freaking huge explosion, probably equal to the TNT times 500, so that is a pretty good one to use. Now, let's head over to the animal TNT. Now, what this does, I'm guessing by the name, hence the name, probably spawns in a bunch of animals around it. And I was right. Not just animals, though. It spawns blazes, spawns endermen, spawns witches. Perfect for a farm. perfect for a mob farm. So now let's head over to the TNT firework. Now this is a pretty freaking powerful TNT, and it's basically a firework of TNTs that go down and they explode. I apologize for the lag. This kind of lags me just a little bit. So that is pretty freaking perfect. And as you can see down here, it even creates a huge hole down here. And that might have been from the drilling TNT, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure there is nothing over here when we came over. So you can see right there how powerful that thing would be. A good idea of it anyway. Now let's go try the gravity TNT. Now what the gravity TNT does is it basically, I believe, it destroys gravity pretty much. You won't have any gravity. As you can see right there, look what it's doing. It's basically pulling you in, and it's basically the main gravity source. So now let's go into the custom TNT, the last TNT, and this will basically, it'll basically cycle through a bunch of TNTs, and it'll combine them, and it'll make a custom TNT, pretty much. So that's pretty much it for all the TNTs. I guess I'll go into how to craft most of them. Now we'll try the actual dynamites. Now these actually come with the Too Much TNT mod, and they're actually pretty dang cool. So let's throw the first dynamite. That's pretty much what it does. And so the second one, the dynamite times 20, and that creates a little bit bigger of a hole, as you can see. Now let's go to the dynamite times 20. This one's actually times 5, not times 20. Times 20 does a little bit bigger. These are actually pretty useful if you want to use them. TNT times 500 is just a little bit laggy. There we go. Yeah, that one does quite a bit. And we got the meteor dynamite, which I'm guessing does quite a bit. That one actually does quite a bit of damage. Probably about a little bit smaller than the actual meteor dynamite, and I bet these are actually cheaper. So now if we try the flat dynamite, this will basically flatten out the area, and it's pretty freaking cool. As you can see there, it flattens out the whole area. Now we have the mining flat dynamite, and this one's pretty cool. It basically puts a bunch of torches. Now if we go to the compact dynamite, this one basically spawns tons of TNTs. They all explode, as you can see right now, and this is pretty cool. Now let's go to the fire dynamite. This basically creates a whole fire ring all around it, which is pretty cool. And yeah. Now we have a little bit more of these dynamites. Now this mod pack has been updated to, I don't think it's been updated to 1.7, so if I miss any of the TNTs, I am sorry, but either way, I would only miss just a few. I thought there's like Ender TNTs and stuff like that, but in this version there's not. I'm in the 1.6.4 version of Too Much TNT. There might be a 1.7 I do not know about. But let's launch the snow dynamite, and that basically creates a snow ring. The ocean dynamite creates an ocean, just like the ocean TNT. The hellfire dynamite basically creates the nether, a ring of the nether. And the vaporized dynamite basically vaporizes all the water around it. And the ender dynamite teleports you away, as you can see there. And now, the very last one, the chemical dynamite. This one is basically the same as the chemical TNT. As you can see here, it is actually pretty freaking powerful, and it creates a cave system. So I recommend using this if you're wanting to make custom cave systems. But anyways, this is it for today. Guys, I've shown off all the TNT stuff, all the dynamite sticks, everything like that. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this mod review, and if you liked it, comment or like or subscribe to my channel and check out some of my other videos. I guess I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.